Happy Saturday, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. I figured I'm staying in the shade this morning. It is hot as can be out in the sun, so I'm not going out in the sun. I wanted to do a video and talk about this. Somebody asked me on Discord a while back to just talk about what it's like to fly private and stuff related to that. So I'm going to do that. I'm also going to talk about private tours if you go abroad and why it's awesome to pay extra money and what you get. Okay, so first let me talk about flying private. And I would not recommend doing this until you are a multimillionaire. And it could, because it's very expensive. I'll talk about costs, approximate costs in just a second. But I wouldn't do it until you're a multimillionaire. You know, I know that many of you are going to become multimillionaires in this bull run because I've seen your portfolios, and we're going to have several, I don't know how many exactly, but several decamillionaires, which is awesome. And when you get to that point, this is, you know, one of the things that you can do with your money. So here's the key thing that I would say about chartering a private flight and anything like it, like whether you're chartering a private yacht or whatever, is let your investments, let your income from your investments, your job or your business or whatever, pay for those things. Don't spend the principal of your investment to go on trips and do stupid shit that is just short term. Okay, so don't do that. Make sure that your income is supporting these things. So they're very expensive. So for example, rough costs here, because everything, a lot of the costs associated with flying private is due to jet fuel, okay? And the plane that you rent, and you got inflation and all that kind of crap built in. But a super high rough estimate of what it costs to fly private is about $10,000 per hour for the smallest light jet that you can charter, and that's a Phenom, okay? So for example, if you're flying from Minnesota down to Florida and going back again, a round trip flight is about 6 hours. It's going to cost you about 60 grand. So that's more than a lot of people spend on a vehicle. You know, and if you were to take that flight, you're obviously spending that on one flight, right? So it's very expensive. And obviously you can charter bigger airplanes than a Phenom. Phenom, I think, if I remember, it seats like 6 people. And as you get to bigger jets, you can seat up to like 8. I wouldn't pack them full because then it's kind of crowded. But anyway, so you could take multiple people along with you, obviously. But it's like it's a little bit more expensive. So for example, a Phenom might cost you 60 grand for a 6-hour round trip. As you move up into bigger jets, you know, it could cost you 65, 70, 75 grand, maybe even 80 grand for like the biggest jet that you can charter, you know, for most cases. So that just gives you an idea of what it costs. Very expensive, but it is worth it. Like I started flying private in 2020. And after that first flight, I was like, damn, I'm like, this is really nice. It's expensive, but it's really nice. And it inspired me to become a more aggressive, smart investor. So I went in heavy in 2020 into native crypto and into Grayscale, right? So that's one of the things. I was like, I want to be able to do this. I never want to fly commercial again if I can help it. And I haven't flown commercial since 2019. So it's only been private jet charters since 2020. So that's been it. Very expensive. And it's like, you know, you get to a point when you have a lot of money, it's like you look at how you're spending money, and it's kind of goofy. Like my base, like I spend more on private jet charter flights per year than I do on my normal expenses, like property taxes, insurance, food, all the stuff of life, right? It costs more for that, for the fun stuff. But I can do that because my income outpaces my expenses, right? And so as I mentioned, I would not use the principal from your investment to actually fund something like a private jet charter. I just wouldn't do it. I would make sure that you were in high yield ETFs or something else that allowed you to produce income that would actually support this kind of stuff. So definitely check it out. Now, what are some of the benefits of flying private? Well, I like it for a lot of reasons. One, I don't need to show up to the airport 2 hours before. I don't need to get hassled by the TSA. I can bring out whatever amount of liquid that I want. It's like nobody checks my bags. What happens is, so when you fly private, you do not fly out of the main terminals. There's like a small separate terminal that I wouldn't even call a terminal. It's like a room that's big that you show up at. You know, there's somebody at the front desk and they just like greet you, and then like the pilots will come and shake your hand, check your ID, and they'll help carry out your bags. Like if there aren't baggage people that carry it out, and they walk you right to the plane. You can show up to the terminal, quote unquote, like 15 minutes before the flight takes off, and you're good. Like, that's it. Like, no more. You don't waste bullshit time at the TSA trying to find a fucking parking lot in the in the ramps and trying to figure out where you parked your car. No, there's none of that bullshit. The only thing I miss about flying commercial is the stores inside of the airport, like the restaurants, the trinket shops, that kind of stuff, especially when flying to another country. I miss that, but otherwise I don't miss it. I don't miss it at all. Private flights, you usually get, at least with FX Air, the company I use, it's like they offer catering, so you can order food and they'll have food on the plane for you, along with snacks and all that kind of stuff. If you, oftentimes, not always, but if you just like say you're down at your destination and you're like, oh shit, I need an extra day or two down there. Oftentimes, as long as the schedule for flights isn't booked, in the next day or two when you want to reschedule, you can just text them, email them, and say, hey, I'd like to move my flight, 1 day out or 2 days out. And as long as things aren't booked, they're probably going to say, yeah, no problem. Like, you can't do that when you fly Delta or American, right? So it's like, you don't need to deal with that. You don't need to deal with a whole bunch of BS that you do on commercial flights. So I like it. I hated, after 9/11, man, I hated the whole experience of flying commercial. I just did, and I was like, damn. So when somebody suggested me to try flying private, and I did, I was like, this is what I want to do. This is going to inspire me to be a better investor. And so that's definitely something you should check out. But like I said, I would highly suggest, and none of this is financial advice as usual, but I would highly suggest that you let your income from your investments actually fuel or power or pay for the fun things you want to do in life, like flying private. Okay, so don't erode the principle of your portfolio to do this. It's not worth it, in my opinion. So if you don't make it to multimillionaire status this bull run, well, just keep investing wisely over the next couple of years. Go into the next crypto bull run in Grayscale, crypto stocks, whatever, and you'll be good. You should be golden, and then you'll be able to achieve that, right? Then you'll be able to do that. So you got to delay the gratification a little bit if you want to do that stuff. So anyway, so also I want to talk about in this video, I just want to mention, so if you're, two things. One, so traveling internationally can be very expensive depending on where you're going. So if you're going to Europe on a private charter flight, for example, it could cost you $250,000 plus or minus, depending on where you are in the US and how far you need to actually travel. But if you want to do that, I haven't been to Europe in a couple of years. I've been to Europe many times. I'll go back again. When I go back again, I'm going private. I'm just, that's what I like. Also, one of the things that I hated about going to Europe, for example, is you go, and really most any country, but especially Europe is very popular, is that you arrive there and you're faced with having to go through the customs halls, right? Just a ton of people in line waiting to go through customs. It's just a pain in the ass. I hate that stuff. It's like, no. So what happens, I went, not to Europe, but I went to Jamaica a couple of years ago. And the customs experience when you fly private is very, very different. So it's much better. So there are no customs halls. No. So what happens, when I landed in Jamaica, what happens, we land on the tarmac, pull up to the terminal, and the pilot says, hold on just a minute. A customs agent will be coming out. So we waited, and it's like a customs agent came out, boarded the plane, said, welcome to Jamaica, checked the passports, and that was it. Holy cow, that was nice. Same thing happened when I came back to the US from Jamaica, landed in Minnesota, didn't have to go through a customs hall, immigration stuff. Again, what happened is we parked on the tarmac, and it's like a customs agent came out, boarded the plane, and said, welcome back to America, checked our passports, and we were good to go. Nobody checked our luggage, nobody checked our bags. Not that I'm saying you should ever take shit back. You shouldn't. I'm just saying nobody ever checked them, okay? So very different. They hassle the hell out of everyday average people. And if you've flown, you know this, what it's like to go through the TSA, get your bags checked, all this shit. But if you've got money, they don't give a fuck. I mean, they don't give a fuck. I mean, that's just the way it is. It was like, it kind of pissed me off actually when I had that experience, because I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, they've been hassling me for years at the TSA and like immigration, but all this shit. And as long as I have money, as long as I show them that I have money because I'm flying private, I don't need to put up with this bullshit. Yep, that's the way it works. So like it or not, this is just the way the world works, folks. This is a reason to, there are multiple reasons, but a reason to become as wealthy as you possibly can, because money makes things better, right? Money, I've said this, it's a facilitator. It's a facilitator. So yeah, so that's something that I would consider trying out once you become a multimillionaire. And again, like I said, have your investments pay for it, right? So you're not eroding the principal of your portfolio to do it. Okay, last thing I want to talk about here was if you travel abroad, especially, and you want to go on a tour, I would recommend check out Kensington Tours. Kensington Tours, they're really good. A couple years ago, back in 2019, I took several people from my company to Africa for like a week and a half long safari, and it was amazing. And Kensington Tours did a fantastic job of coordinating everything. It was expensive. It was like 75 grand for like eight or nine of us. It was expensive, but it was worth it. So if you've got the money, it's like there are times when it's like it's worth it to spend the money. There's no point in having money in life unless you spend it on good things for yourself, for your family, for your community, all that kind of stuff. You got to spend it. So you got to spend some of it. You know, it's like once you're okay, you don't, like I said, you don't want to erode your nest egg, any of that. But once you're good, you know, spend some money on yourself and you'll be really happy. Money does buy a lot of really good things in this world. All right, that's it for this video. Hope you guys are doing well. I will catch you guys in another video. Maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow. I will see you guys then. Until then, you guys take care.